there everyone, this is Lilith and welcome back to another one of my videos for Altenew. Today I'm going to be creating a layout and a card using the Book Club stamp and coordinating die sets. The first thing I'm going to do is place some papers, pattern papers from the Verdant Walk 6x6 paper pad onto my layout. I created a very simple layer here of pattern papers. I'm also going to pull out this lovely pattern paper with these pretty little flowers, and I'll be using this pattern paper to create some embellishments later on. Now that I've got my papers correctly placed, I'm going to start adding the stamped image with the flower stamp, which you can see on the Book Club stamp set. I'm just going to finish popping in all those different papers, and then I can add my stamp. I'm going to be stamping part of it at the top and another part at the bottom. Just to make sure I don't get any ink on those pattern papers, I'm just going to cover them up with some masking tape. Then I'm going to take some permanent black ink and just ink the upper parts and stamp that on my paper, and I will do the same for the bottom part. And once the ink is dry, I can start adding my photo and my other little embellishments. The photo I'm using is a photo of me reading some of my books. I love reading books, and I have a huge stack always on hand for when I have a little bit of time to read. And this set is perfect also for scrapbooking your love of books. So I used this book stamp and stamped it a couple of times on the pink pattern paper and added the word hooray, which is from the Live Your Dream collection. It's a chipboard piece, and I thought it worked really well with the colors. All I had to do was add a little bit of journaling and my layout is finished. I did add a couple of Altenew spray ink splatters just to add a little bit more detail and a bit more flow. As I had already pulled out those different sprays, I thought I'd just use them to create this little card. So I'm going to take a little bit of watercolor paper and use that same floral image, which I'm going to stamp with some permanent black ink. Now, if you're going to be using water on your stamped image, I would advise you just to leave the image to dry or to heat set it. I think it works best for me if I let it sit at least for half an hour and then just heat set it before I start adding any water. You could use watercolors if you would like, or the Altenew watercolor brush. markers if you prefer, but I thought it would just be nice to work with the sprays. They have this lovely shine to it, and it just gives a different look. So I'm going to add a bit of the color onto an acrylic block, or you could just use a palette if you have one, and then I'm going to add a bit of water and a bit of color and just color in the leaves and the flowers. So now that I have finished coloring in the image and that the image is dry, do let the image dry before you die cut it. I'm going to be using the coordinating die, and I'm going to also use the inner piece so that it just cuts out the inner circle. This is what is really fun about this die. If you just want the whole image, you can just use the outer die, and you can also pop the circle in if you want to just create that fun empty look in the inside. Now for my card, I'm going to matte this image against some dark paper. So once again, because I had the Verdant Walk paper pad out, I looked through that and I loved this really dark teal paper, and also wanted to add a little border around that. So I'm going to use the same paper as I used on my layouts, so trying to use all the different scraps that I have laying around. And I also want to add a little bit of pink, and because I had some pink color left over on my acrylic block, I just added a little hint of pink to the side. Now all I have to do is pop on some foam dots and just pop the image onto my card base, and then add a sentiment. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I hope to see you very soon with another video for Altenew. If you want any more information on all the products used, please go to the Altenew scrapbook blog, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.